in the body, possibly due to injection of a citrate. So something wrong with blood, picking up higher portion of plasma, which may be lymphatic fluid. O2 man working on the animal. Very sharp surgical knives. Though men dressed in black jumpsuits. Shiny black nylon. O winch line coming down from chopper. Though men are skilled ex-military. Oh, something is going to be done with the tissue. Interferometry connection. Spectrophotometer. Though choppers are brown or gray. Though underground implications. Though experimentation with different analytical techniques. Name of psychic, Elizabeth Lerner. O paramilitary forces. Though a serious invasion of American privacy. O non-American Indians part of secret project. O the word anite. O the word carmine or carmine. So the symbol decay. So a new wave of mutilations will strike near southwest New Mexico. So the Hobart Company is involved in this refrigeration equipment. O three huge donut-shaped objects will be seen in conjunction with these new mutilations. So breakthrough in research. O muscle relaxant injections. O someone with the name Impede. O this is a Mexican operation. O names Kielman and Kelman. O institution with many Lincoln Continentals and Cadillacs. O laboratory underground. O Lilly Pharmaceuticals. O Roman numerals IVII. O name Stefano. O the number 1714. O last name Bodler. O first name Mays. O last name Bodley. O jet rocket labs nearby. O domes above the ground. So vehicle ID number sign MP 1936. Small jeeps. O last name Plento. O initials CBP heads operation. Wears brown military shoes. Army. O number 1161. So around an oil field. O place where oil crosses in an X pattern. O chemical engineering connections. O mustard. O periscope device on bottom of craft. Chopper called the shark. O man with blonde hair. English features. High forehead. Wear square ring. Insignia reads CBP is something to do with ammunition. Colonel. Name of psychic. Nancy Fox. O dusk scene. Men talking about some animal's throat. Something missing. O cylindrical object. So long thick object inserted into jugular vein. O powerful energy flow emanating from device used to kill cattle. So feeling of tremendous anger and hostility. So research implication. Minerals needed for research. So intimidation of rancher myths. O embryos. O thousands of samples needed for this breeding effect. O crossbreeding. O animal dies in seconds. O jolts of electricity through animals. So breeding and genetics involved. So army background. So liquid-filled shoes leave no prints. So marshal. Army. Cap with black rim and gold braid. Pompous. White-haired. Very influential. Walks into Pentagon whenever he pleases. Commission given 15 to 18 years ago for mutilation project when he was overseas. Grand Marshal. Friend of General MacArthur. Lives in Dakotas. Money invested. High. Priority issues. Tall. Heavy set. Only 17 people know of this project with $2.5 million allocated early in game for breeding experimentation. Late 1960s through Pentagon. More and more money invested every year. Land wanted. Want to destroy ranchers' prime source of income. John Mitchell connected to this. Howard Hughes. Uranium connection. Go picture complex. Faction written. Go interest in speeding up growth of cattle. Go importance of pancreas. Well, there you have that little presentation. I don't know what exactly to make of it, but there is certainly a non-UFO implication here. However, it only relates to 3 mutilations. How about the other 10,000, most of which have the UFO connection? What did I tell you about a multi-level reality? At this point, I will put some references and excerpts from some volumes that I believe are relevant to all the things we've been talking about. Where I feel it is applicable, I will comment on them. The Godlin Universe P-222. The ability to materialize mental constructs is not unknown. Suppose one creates a field with the mind that is strong enough to attract supercharged particles. The particles are real but unstable in their assemblage, since the stability depends on the intermediate mental component. P-223. Physical aspect of UFOs and other phenomena lie in the behavior of electromagnetic fields. P-124. If all UFO incidents were chance encounters, someone would have obtained a filmed record or a series of stills years ago. The only way that such episodes can be engineered so that they remain total mysteries is for the entities to have advanced knowledge of any situation before it occurs. P-117. Referencing John Keel. These entities labor to cultivate belief in various frames of reference, and then they create new manifestations which support those beliefs. P-120. Illness is common after close contact with some beings. P-120. To guide Underwood classified primary geomagnetic currents into 3 classes: water lines, aquastats, and track lines. Some magnetic signals appear as spirals, others are linear. Gnats and flies congregate above magnetic patterns. Extraterrestrial among us. P-3. On several occasions after UFOs flew over missile sites, it was found that the targeting of the missiles had changed, and the warheads had to be replaced. P-3. On June 22, 1980, a UFO that was 10 miles in diameter was reported over the Kuwait oil fields. P-4. On July 30, 1985, a UFO over Mongolia that was 10 kilometers in diameter was reported heading south. It was sighted by a Chinese jet and reported in the Japan Times. The United States ignored this report. PHAANA P-146 specifies up to 10 years in prison and $10,000 in fines for anyone in government service who makes unauthorized public statements about UFO phenomena. The British Official Secrets Act makes similar provisions. P-9. Many routes of UFOs take the form of an isosceles triangle. P-16. On September 14, 1978, a UFO as big as an ocean liner flew over Italy and over Rome on the 15th and 16th. Comment: this was 2 weeks before Pope John Paul I was found dead under suspicious circumstances. He was killed between September 28 to 29. Autopsy was refused. It was rumored he intended to reveal the Fatima message of 1917. Page 20. UFOs dart around in daylight at speeds which cannot be seen. P-22. An individual having one CD experience usually has another. P-24. There is no basis to support psychiatric pathology for UFO witnesses. P-24. Dr. Brighton T. Clifford. Pentagon announces on October 5, 1982, that contact between U.S. citizens and extraterrestrials on their vehicles is illegal. Title 14, Section 1211 of the Code of Federal Regulations, adopted July 16, 1969, before the first manned lunar landing, says that anyone guilty of this becomes a wanted criminal to be jailed for 1 year and fined $5,000. The NASA administrator is empowered to determine with or without a hearing that a person has been yet exposed and impose indeterminate quarantine under armed guard, which cannot be broken even by court order. P-89 Mars has a history of transient phenomena. P-90 temporary brilliant spots on Mars were reported by astronomers in 1890, 1892, 1900, 1911, 1924, 1937, 1952, 1954, 1967, and 1971. The distribution was non-random. Intensely dark spots, transient in nature, were reported on Mars in 1925, 1952, and 1954. P-93 About 33% of abductees are able to remember the experiences without hypnotic regression. 66% of the abductees were alone when abducted. P-94 Some abductees did not return but vanished permanently or were found dead after a UFO encounter. P-25 Records of the 687 BC battle between the Assyrians and the Hebrews indicate that a blast from heaven reduced the bodies of 185,000 Assyrians to ashes but left their clothes intact. P-145 Maurice K. Jessup died under mysterious circumstances after a copy of his book Case for the UFO was sent to the Chief of the Office of Naval Research O.H.Kryll in Washington. P-146 Comments from Case for the UFO falls from the sky of flesh, blood, reptiles, etc. were due to either spoiled food or cleaning of holding tanks. O comments described different space races who share the planet with us without our knowledge. They are not visitors. They have been here longer than we have. They feel more at ease in the ocean. Oh, the little men were almost wiped out by a serpent race identified only as the X-Men. X-Men are ravenous for red meat, extremely materialistic, and are greedy for power. Comment sounds like the dead rose of Shivarian fame. P-147 Thanks to Talent Dallas in partnership with Reinhard Allen, the Gestapo was transplanted intact into the United States system as the CIA, without the knowledge or consent of American citizens. Comment: Remember Reagan placing wreaths on graves of SS stormtroopers at the 40th anniversary of World War II. Roots of that symbolic gesture go deep. P-147 reference the Intelligence Identity Protection Act of 1981. Freedom to speak about anything but the CIA. Some claim that concentration camps have already been built. Activation was sealed by Executive Order Rex 84. The next Rex exercise in 1988. P-148 Jessup: I believe that space structures of 5 to 10 miles in diameter are sufficiently large to produce intelligently directed storms. P-150 Alleged alien comment in annotated edition of Case for the UFO Men Frozen Helpless Make Good Praise. P-151 Dr. James E. McDonald thought that the Federal Power Commission was evading the evidence concerning UFO involvement in the total power failure that paralyzed New York on July 13, 1965, and dared to say so in front of a congressional committee. P-152 On June 13, 1971, James E. McDonald was found dead under mysterious circumstances, shot through the head with a pistol by his side. P-153 Murder disguised as suicide is one of the well-known specialties of the CIA. P-153 There is ample documentation suggesting that among the highest priority covert operations of the CIA are those supplying heroin to the mafia. The war on drugs is in fact a war on the independent drug dealer who constitutes a threat to the mafia monopoly. Comment: Additional ways to subdue the population or eliminate undesirables. P-156 Karen Silkwood's murder disguise as auto accident. P-159 George Adamski, contactee in the 1950s, had a special government passport. Possible CIA disinformation agent.